So I'm going to pick up the pattern that is for this wording. Remember, I cut 4 pieces of it, so I'm taking 2 pieces out of it. Okay, so I'll keep the other for lining, and for this I'll also take 2 pieces out of it, as you can see, and I'll keep the other for lining. So make sure you have your notches. Make sure you have your notches, very important, because if you don't have your notches, it's going to be difficult for you. Okay, so these are my notches. So I place it back on the lining and ensure the notches is also on the lining as well. Okay, so I'll make the notch, so once that is done, I'll pick up 2 pieces of it now, and these 2 pieces of it, you can see it here right away. So for this part, you can see I have my notch on the bust point right on the wording. So I'll be placing it like this. This is the back piece of it, and this is the wording. This is the upper part and the notch. So I'll pick up this on the upper part with the notch. I'll do the same for the sticky parts on the notch. Can you see? So I'll secure it with my pin, and I'll go over my ironing table, use my hairstay, place on top of it to hold it down. That is what I'm going to do right on the machine ironing table right now. So you can see where I'm pinning at the upper part, so it holds this down. Okay, so for this I'm picking 2 of it like I earlier said. So you should also note the part. This part that I did not notch is the part that will be sewn to the lining, so to the yoke. Okay, so this means I'll be picking up this. The part that is notched, like I said, will be on the sticky part like this, while this other part that is notched on this part will be on the sticky part. So let me quickly go to the ironing table and lay my hairstay on it and come back to show you how you can stitch them together. So we have the wordings on top of it like this. So I'll quickly do that now, so we'll stitch them. All right, so I've gone ahead to stay the wording right now. So you can see I use my black hairstay. So when doing this, I'll encourage you to use white hairstay, but for tutorial purpose I need you to see that I hairstayed this. That is why I'm using my black hairstay. So now I'm going to join these pieces together. The parts I have my notches on the bust point, I'm going to merge them together, as you can see, and sew them differently. So I'll secure it with my pin. I'll also secure the under bust notch with my pin, and I'll go to my machine now. I'll sew from below, follow the curves and match up. So I'm going to repeat the same thing right now. I'll do that for this particular part. So make sure you have your notches so you know which part to sew. So I'll quickly sew this part now, give it a good press, okay, and come back for us to sew the yoke to it. Okay, the yoke is going to be at the center of it like this. So I will sew this, and I will sew the lining. Remember, we have the lining. I'm not padding the lining. I'm going to place notch to notch on the part that have the notches, sew everything together and come back. So before, I've already sewn the 2 pattern, that is this and this together. So if you look here, you can see I have a shortage. The reason is because we did not we did not match up. We are supposed to match up and fill in this shortage. So if you don't fill this shortage before you sew, this is what you are going to have. Okay, so please make sure you avoid what I have right here by filling up this shortage we have. So to fill this shortage, all I'm going to do before I cut my pattern and my wording, I'm going to apply my adhesive on paper, and I'm going to match chest line. This is chest line. You can see their lines. I match it up together, as you can see. So once that is done, the next thing you are going to do is to pick up your ruler, your pattern ruler, and place it to fill up that space from here to here. Can you see that? So you can see that space now. I filled it up. So once I fill it up, next is to cut out what I have on that space. So to cut out what I have on that space, I'll just cut from here and separate the two patterns. So I'll cut and add up the part that is shorting. So you can see from here to here is this shortage we have on the dress right now. Okay, so make sure you do this necessary alteration. So now if I match up chest line to chest line, you can see everything is matching up. So that is why we have this shortage. Okay, so I've gone ahead to sew everything. I've sewn all my patterns together. You can see the bustier, and you see that. So for tutorial purpose you can see, but I'm supposed to go with my tailors and make notches and iron it out nicely. Okay, but I won't be doing that for now. I just want to show you how you can achieve this up. So now I have this shortage. I don't have any choice. So what I'm going to do is to blend up with my scissors to this line. Okay, cut off that part so I'll be able to sew my yoke. But please make sure you feel the shortage before you cut if you are making this dress. So now I've cut off the shortage. Okay, so next I've also sewn my lining. These are my linings. I've sewn everything together. So please make sure you give them a good press so you'll be able to have a good result at the end of the day. So now this is my yoke. I place my yoke in between like this. Can you see that? And I'm going to sew from the underbust. Remember, this yoke is cut at the under bust. Okay, it's cut at the waistline, if I'm correct. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to match it up. So make sure you make a notch of where your yoke, okay, terminated. Okay, so but what I'm having here now is that the under bust, I'm having it terminate, so that does not affect anything. So this is my under bust. As you can see, my padding. So I'll go over to the machine now. I'll be sewing this yoke. I'll secure it with my pin. I'll match up and sew. You can see me and sew up to this point. Okay, or you can as well start at the beginning, because I cannot really identify where the yoke stop because I did not make my notch. So I'll start from the beginning. Wherever it stops, I'll turn it around and place this part and start at the beginning. So let me sew the yoke and come back. All right, people, so I'm done attaching the yoke right now, and you can see what we have here right here. Okay, so make sure you iron this bustier appropriately. Like I said, I did not iron because this is a tutorial. So now what we have on the for the lining, this is what we have for the lining. You can see the shortage. I'll blend it up like this. I'll also do the same for this, like this. Okay, so now this is the back piece of this. I'm going to place, this is supposed to be like this, and this is supposed to be like this. So if you want to place your lining, just go in like this and match up from the waistline and pin them up once you pin up, follow the stitching line to the end like this, okay? And at the end of the day, you have your lining like this. The same, you flip like this and stitch. So but the purpose of this tutorial is to show you how to manipulate that flange. So it's high time to talk about the flange right now, or the flay you have right there. So all I'm going to do now is to measure the part at which the flay is going to be. If you want this flay to start at the shoulder, you'll be measuring from the armhole shoulder line. You can see how I'm taking my measurement. That flay is sewn from this point under the bust, and it came down to the waistline. So you can see how I took my measurement. So you start taking your measurement from the shoulder, unless you want the flay to go to the back, okay? But for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm not going to show the back. If you want the back, all you need to do is to merge the back piece together and take the measurement from the back where you want it, okay? Come across and go inside. But this one I'm making now, I'm going to show you how to do that for only for the front. So from here, I'll take my measurement. I'll take my measurement of the flay. That is the circumference I'm going to work with right now. I have 19 inches. So 19 inches, I'm going to cut my radius of 19 inches right now. So I will come in with my piece of fabric right now. I'll be using this pepper to cut my flay right now. I have 19 inches. So since I have 19 inches, I'll simply do 19 divided by 6.28 because I'm cutting my flay. And here I have 3 inches. So I'm going to cut exactly 3 inches because that is the circumference I just measured where I'm going to attach this flay sleeve. So this flay sleeve is a double sleeve, and I want you to note that. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm folding my pepper as you fold your 360. When you are making your 360 with this flay, you fold your pepper like this, and you fold it again like this, as you can see. So now I will cut this pepper starting all the way from 3 inches, which I calculated now as the circumference. So the radius is 3 inches. I'll cut 3 inches. I'll cut 3 inches. I'll measure 3 inches, and this is what I'm going to cut my flay with. Then the width of this flay, I'm making use of 6 inches for it. So you can see me measuring 6 inches, 6 inches, after which I'll add my seam allowance for sewing the both of them. So I'll simply cut this flay right now, which I'm going to attach on that part I measured, okay? Can you see that? So this is what I have as the flay. So all I'm going to do now is to open it up. Can you see? So I'm cutting 2 times of it. So I'll quickly go now and cut 2 times of this. This is what we are going to attach. You can see the flay has already flayed. I'll cut 2 times of this. I'll hairstay it and bring it back to attach it on this beautiful dress from this point. So I'm going to sew right on top of this sleeve right now, or I might also sew from the sleeve right now and go into the under, but I'll show you how to do that. All right, so I've gone ahead to cut what I have, this full circle I have here, using the radius I measured to cut on my fabric. And here I've already stayed it, okay? So you can see the 2 of them. One will serve as lining and one will serve as fabric. But for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm not going to show how to sew it. I have a detailed video on how to sew your flay and add your crinoline on this channel, okay? So if you are confused on how to sew your flare and crinoline, I'll drop the link on the description box below. So for this one, this is one together. After you must have sewn and torn, it will be one front and back. But this one I did not add the lining, so I'm going to pick them together now, and I'm going to sew on my machine right now. So I'm sewing it the way you see it right away. I'm going to turn and sew. I'll turn it like this, and I'll be sewing it. So let me show you how you can neatly finish this. So after you must have finished joining the back piece, you have joined the back piece, or that is if you want to sew for this, okay, you might ignore joining the back piece anyway, since we are doing it for the front. So this is the flare front, as you can see. Okay, so I'll turn it to the wrong side. I'll place it right. If you are stitching to the shoulder, or you can come in by 0.5, so you'll be able to, you know, run the armhole. So I'll just come in by 0.5, as you can see. I'll back stitch, then I will sew at 0.5. Okay, so as I'm sewing now, I'm following what I have on my measurement. So I'm sewing below. Okay, so before you attach the lining, please make sure you sew this so it looks neat before you attach your lining. Okay, so I'll just sew. I'll keep sewing. I'm sewing under the bust. The way I took my measurement, that is how I'm sewing right away. So before you sew, make sure you have turned your flare. Okay, your 360 degrees flare has to be turned. So you can see I'm under the bust now, taking this under the bust, sewing under the bust. So I'm sewing under the bust. Once I get to the under bust, I'll come down. Okay, I have a little excess here. I'll just fold it, double it, or I can also make some pleating to that part. Okay, all right, so I'm done. So once you are done, you can see the rough side. Okay, so what you have on the rough side, I'm going to bend it, fold it to the front, and sew on top of it like this at 0.5. I believe you are seeing what I'm doing here. You can see I'm sewing on top right now, so make sure you straighten what you have below. So I'm sewing at 0.5 to hold down so you don't see what happens at this part. So I'm sewing right on top. As you can see, I'm sewing right on top of the flare. I'll just follow the flare. Alright, so you can see the flare has been attached to the plunge neckline, as you can see. So that is exactly how you are going to sew this particular flare dress into your neckline. Okay, so you can now sew the back bodies and attach. If you still need to run the flare from the back to the front, is all your choice. The lower part of this dress can also be attached. Make sure you iron out your bust here, okay, because this is a tutorial. I did not iron it, but at least you have an idea of how to go about this flayed plunge neckline. So thank you very much for coming to this tutorial once again. If you are new to this channel, please kindly subscribe, turn on your notification bell to receive videos like this each week. Like this video, share to family and friends, drop your comments on the comment section and your suggestions as well. So thank you for coming once again, and see you in my next video. Bye.